Thanks for listening. This is Brian Hurley from Business Performance Improvement. The podcast Lean Six Sigma Bursts are short lessons, comments, Q&A, and insights. If you have a question, send your question through the Anchor app, and we might feature you on a future episode. Or contact me at biz-pi.com. I'd like to share an article I wrote for my website called Survey Shows Daily Huddles Improve Communication and Engagement. One of the first improvements I suggest for organizations is a daily huddle, if they do not currently have one in place. So what is a daily huddle? It is a daily stand-up meeting for members of a team, typically in a workplace setting, lasting between 5 and 15 minutes in length. Typically, it is held at the beginning of the workday. It is a method to communicate and measure progress of a team's work plan. They allow members to be proactive in identifying and resolving potential and actual problems and make adjustments in order to meet goals and performance metrics. They also allow the team to review accomplishments from the previous day and to set expectations for the upcoming day. The huddles can help deliver customer value through proper support and servant leadership to those who are closest to the process or the frontline workers. Provide a regular cadence to communicate what's going on to workers. Provide a structure to escalate problems quickly to leadership within hours, not days, using the tiered huddle system. Provides a structured opportunity for gathering improvement ideas and building support and involvement from the process experts to engage them in taking ownership of process and their work. Gives insights and consistent feedback to workers on how they're doing on daily and hourly performance to help achieve the key weekly and monthly business goals and metrics. Shares updates on projects, initiatives, safety and quality alerts, and corrective actions. Helps shift from firefighting or reactive mode to a more stable work, proactive mode. Celebrates wins, good behaviors, and communicates learning from other departments and facilities, and builds teamwork, skill development, and collaboration between workers and support staff. And in the article, I embed a video of a daily huddle at a healthcare clinic that I think does a really good job and succinct way of giving updates, and I use that in my training classes. The following questions were asked of employees at one of my clients, comparing the time period before the daily huddle meeting started at the end of 2021 and their current perspective since the huddles began in March of 2022. The questions were, my colleagues share information and knowledge with each other. I feel that I am part of a team that cares about each other. Where I work, my opinions and ideas matter. Where I work, there is good teamwork and cooperation between departments. I have the information I need to do my job well. My manager recognizes my efforts and results. I have appropriate influence and decision-making authority in my job. There are only 7 employees at this facility that worked there in late 2021, so that could have made it difficult to show any statistical significance in the survey. Here are the results. The survey was provided to employees in person. One side of the sheet was asking for their current scores, and the back side of the sheet asked about their scores as they remember back in 2021. The questions were identical. The only difference was the time frame. Now, ideally, we would have had the employees fill out the survey into December of 2021, then repeat the survey in March 2022, but this was the next best thing since we couldn't go backwards in time. And I didn't start working with the client until February. But before I go into the results again, let me pause for a moment to tell you about our sponsor, Creative Safety Supply. They are a great resource for free guides, infographics, and continuous improvement tools. I recommend starting with their 5S guide. It includes breakdowns of the 5 pillars, ways to begin implementing 5S, and even organization tips and color charts. From red tags to floor marking, it's all there. Download it for free at creativesafetysupply.com/5S. The 5 choices the employees could select for each question were as follows. Strongly disagree, which we would give a rating of 0%, slightly disagree, 25%, neutral, 50%, slightly agree, 75%, and strongly agree, 100%. So those percentages give us a way to quantify the answers in terms of how much agreement do they have. For example, for the first question listed below, my colleagues share information and knowledge with each other, the average response was 57.1%, which would be close to that neutral score. And that would be the score in late 2021. But they got up to 93%, which would be close to strongly agree, in March 2022 across all the employees. And then in the article, I've got the table results of each of the 7 questions and comparing the percentage score versus the newer score and the difference in scores between 2021 and 2022. And then I show an interval plot showing the difference plus some variation by question. So based on the results, the largest improvement in scores were the following 2 questions. My colleagues share information and knowledge with each other. That went from 57% to 93%. And I feel that I'm part of a team that cares about each other. Went from 64% to 89%. Both questions saw an increase in over 25 percentage points. All questions showed a positive improvement, but the last question received nearly identical results, so the improvement would not have been statistically valid. To validate the difference in scores, I conducted a paired t-test comparing every question and employee score to their scores in late 2021. With 7 questions and 7 employees, that created 49 different comparisons of 2021 to 2022 data. The paired t-test is an excellent analysis technique for removing the variation in survey questions and variation in employees, so we can measure the true difference that each employee felt before the addition of the daily huddle within each question. Although the data is not continuous, the difference in scores does not greatly differ from a normal distribution. So I was able to assume normality, which is one of the assumptions for the paired t-test. If you recall, our data was very structured and very simplified into 5 different answers. So that's why I'm saying it's not continuous. And I've got some summary of the analysis in there. The results show an average difference in scores of 16.3% improvement. Looking at the most likely results of the average difference in scores, the true average is between 9.37% and 23.29%. The p-value of 0.00 concludes that there is a statistical improvement in scores for these questions across all 7 employees, and that difference is likely around 16 percentage points. And if you recall, the p-value less than 0.05 shows a statistical significance. Therefore, we can conclude that implementing the daily huddles is a likely contributor, or at least a causal relationship, to increased communication and engagement felt by the employees. However, we can't prove that for sure since it is not a designed experiment, and we did not control for all other factors, such as change in management or recent equipment upgrades or recent process improvements or change in the weather. These survey results were then shared with the other facilities with my client, and it helped convince their management to establish daily huddles as a best practice. Now, we could have just told management that daily huddles are a good thing, and it's just take our advice, but it's always better to have some objective data to back up any kind of improvements we want to make. So I hope you found that useful and helpful. Please reach out if you have any questions. You can reach me through the Spotify app for podcasters, or you can go to biz-pi.com. Thanks.
Lean6sigma-definition.com has a list of glossary items about popular process improvement terms, along with the history of Lean and Six Sigma methods, and key influencers like Dr. Edward Stemming, Henry Ford, Taiichi Ono, Shigeo Shingo, and many more. You can also learn how to access affordable Lean and Six Sigma training and certification. Visit Lean6sigma-definition.com.